Good morning, my friends. This is Tyra Jarvis with Kefi Coaching, and this is Transformation Tuesday. I come to you live every Tuesday morning, 8 a.m., and we've been looking at mindset, motivation, and transformation. And over the last several months, I've been dealing with the topic of fulfillment and living a fulfilling life, and that you can have success by every standard and still not be experiencing fulfillment. And so whether it's my 3-part audio program or the master classes that I did in January and will do again in March, it's really about how to be in touch with what's most important to you and make sure that you choose choices that support that. And in doing that, live a fulfilling life every day. And that it's not a someday, one day, tomorrow I'll be fulfilled phenomena. It's something that you choose to do on a day-to-day basis. And so today what I want to talk about is fear. And fear is one of the most powerful emotions that we have, and its intention is to keep us safe. And by definition, it's the belief that something real or imagined is going to do us harm. And so the body's physiological response to a physical, real threat, as we're dealing with the pandemic or escaping a forest fire or a burning house, or maybe even a hostile environment at work or a hostile environment at home, you're actually physically fleeing, and it's real, and it's happening in the present. The other part of it that's a little bit more sophisticated is not that they're not real, because circumstances may have happened to cause something, an experience that caused you to embed that in your memory or in your brain, that this was real, this was a real threat, and this was real harm. But it's what you do with that information and that belief. And that if you take it from the past and you put it in the future, or if you allow it to influence your present choices, it may not be giving you the best intelligence of the next action that you would want to take if you want to have a fulfilling life. And, to have something that you don't have. So I'm not talking to people that have this ideal life right now and they don't have any need to make any changes. I'm talking to people that say, I don't want to be here anymore. I mean, it could be as simple as I'm tired of the pandemic, but I don't want to be here anymore. So what is it that I'm going to do differently? Because I'm going to have to be somebody different and do something different. And how do you do that without having fear or being afraid? Unless you're bigger than that and you have tools that will allow you to overcome the fear. So what I want to maybe talk about a little bit, and let me just tell you a little bit about why this is important to me. I've been aware of a coach. Her name's Rhonda Britton, and she's written a book called Fearless Living. And I'm actually participating in a group right now. It's a book club. And so last week we were looking at what is fear. And I know what it is when I hear it, I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. Excuse me. I could never do that at my age. Or that's just not appropriate. Or people will think I'm stupid. Or they'll think I'm, so criticism of others causes us to shrink and to be less than our authentic self. And to not take that action because we believe that it's going to harm us. And in reality, what I do in coaching and what most coaches would do is stop, look, listen. Is it real? If it's real today, is it really having that kind of an effect? Because it's a choice. And you can choose to be motivated by fear. And obviously in the case of a physical hazard, motivating away from that physical threat is probably a positive motivation. But is fear motivating you to not take an action, to not go after a new job because nobody's going to be hiring right now? Well, I learned last year that that's not true. People got jobs last year. I'm not going to be able to sell my business. Nobody's going to be buying a business. No, guess what? You can sell a business. We did it last year. You can do it. I'm not healthy. I have a health crisis. Well, are you taking the actions that are necessary to cause you to live and have those habits reinforce having a healthy life? And so what you want to look at is, where have you allowed fear to drive your bus, so to speak, or to take over the wheel? Has fear taken over the wheel in your life? And if it has, is that how you really want it to go? And if not, then what are you going to do to overcome that fear? And since it's so heavily rooted in your belief system, constant work on looking inside, challenging those beliefs. Are they inherited? Did they come from the past? Because then what happens, and this is why fear is so sophisticated, is that first of all, it's pervasive, it's everywhere. And second of all, you're going to use filters to only see, hear, and listen to what validates the fear that you have. So it's going to almost gang up on you, so to speak, in allowing you to not take an action that's relevant today, because you're going to have to be strong enough to dispel that belief. And, there's exercises about really documenting, what you believe to be true, and then testing, is that really what's so? Is that really what's current in the situation? And then looking at the language that you use that influences your behavior. I've used the example before, are we sheltered in place with no freedom, or are we safe at home and we have the personal freedoms that we decide to choose for ourselves? But obviously, there's still fear around the pandemic, and that is going to have an effect, because we have to get ready. I know, as hard as this is to believe, we have to get ready. And I heard an NPR article last week about getting kids ready to go back to school. And this is going to apply to any of us. And I'm looking at myself when I say this. I'm choosing not to go out. I'm choosing to stay home. It's easier to just stay home. Well, it's not about not being around crowds. It's just that I'm developing a lifestyle, and my brain is getting really comfortable with this COVID lifestyle. And that may not serve me post-pandemic, or when it's more suitable and more acceptable and safer to go about maybe what my normal life would have been. And so you need to really look to, where is fear driving that? Get that it's pervasive. Get that you have a heightened listening for it validating the fear that you have, when the situation might be take a different action, or move down the path a different way, or find a different way to do that, to create this new thing that you want really in your life. So just know that it has the potential to block you from what you say you want most. And a fulfilling life is going to be built on something by your design. So you can't be worried about criticism, and you can't be worried about, being judged by other people. You have to be standing in your truth, that what you believe to be true and what you want is really key. For me, it's really been about getting my voice out there. I can say, who wants to hear what I have to say? Well, I do this Transformation Tuesday every week to have some consistency, develop a new habit, get comfortable sharing myself verbally. I've been doing some blogging more, so writing more, but I'm a perfectionist. My fear hides in perfection. It hides in procrastination. It's avoiding putting it out there. It's avoiding whatever this perceived, imagined harm is going to be. People that want to hear what I have to say are going to be around. They're going to hear what I have to say. But what is it for you? The aging one was big. I'm 60 and I can't start a new career now. Well, guess what? Yes, you can. You can do it at any time if you're taking the action. But if you stop and you don't see the action and you're not choosing the action, you won't take the action. Then you validate your fear that nobody's going to hire me because I'm 60. if you look at fear of failure, fear of success. I had somebody yesterday say she's not comfortable putting her accolades out there because she's perceived as bragging, or there's so many gender biases in it. It's just, you have to look at what's really influencing you. And I think, fear of looking bad, fear of being judged, if you happen to be in a relationship with a, very strong partner that's very controlling and possibly even verbally abusive, you could be believing that. And after a while, you just continue to believe it to be true, and believe that the fear of breaking free or standing up for yourself or whatever isn't worth the pain of, being, criticized again or judged again, or, whatever that is. And what I get is that that's their fear of loss of control, so when you're in relationships with other people, their fears have an influence on you. So it boils down to, you have to have a strong personal foundation. You have to have a mindset that is working every day to reinforce you and strengthen you and give you courage. And get that courage is not the absence of fear. It's just the notion that there's something bigger than fear that's going to pull you forward. And no, that's a quote actually from FDR. And this Ben Franklin quote cracked me up. He goes, people die at 25. We just don't bury them until 75. You've got a life to live, and it's going to require that you do some things differently. So just this awareness and looking inside and asking yourself, where did that come from? Where did I think I couldn't do that? Was it, did I fall off a jungle gym when I was a kid and so I'm afraid of heights? Do I have other kinds of fears about being in crowds or being with groups, or doing something that I've never done before with people I've never been around? Is that what scares you? Well, then you won't do that. But you want to get that, to create something new that you've never had, you're going to have to be willing to create experiences where you give yourself the grace to fumble a little bit, the freedom to actually choose and choose from freedom. So I ask you, are you being motivated by fear, or are you being motivated by freedom? That would be from Rhonda's book, The Path to Freedom. Well, freedom would be where courage lives. So are you choosing to take a courageous action today? It doesn't have to be a big one. It just could be a little one. It could be, for business owners, it could be put your post out there, get it out there, start engaging with people. For somebody, that is afraid of criticism, maybe you take a stand, but you've got to really have confidence. You've really got to believe in yourself. And that's going to come from this mindset foundation work. And don't get me wrong, physical foundation is also important. You've got to be healthy and rested to tackle these long-held standing beliefs that you've had about yourself. And they're limiting your choices. And it's just really at the base of it. I believe fear is at the base of all of it. And you just don't want to give in to fear. I'm not saying fear isn't good when you're fleeing a physiological threat to your person, to your body. I'm looking at the ones that are protecting your ego and your self-image and your self-identity. And are those real? Are those real? Are they really taking you where you really want to go? So with that, I'm going to wrap on, is fear, or did you give the wheel to fear? So this is Tyra Jarvis, and it's just past my time here, so I'm going to go. I want you to have a great day and an amazing week, and just start looking at where you're driven and influenced and motivated by fear. And if you make a decision that you don't want to do that, then you need to ask, what am I going to do? How am I going to get some help? If I don't know what to do, how am I going to find out what to do? So give that some thought. Again, have a great day, and tune in next Tuesday, and we'll have another Transformation Tuesday. This is Tyra Jarvis with Kefi Coaching, and thanks for joining. Have a great day. Bye-bye.